Welcome to Infotech Lead Videos. Here we have Ashish Chalke talking about stopping threats to your endpoints in real time with Dell Data Security Solutions at Dell EMC Forum 2017 in Bangalore.
So I'm here to actually show you how Dell differentiates between the traditional way of the managing security versus how we manage security much more better for you for your organization. The problem that have actually enhanced this virus pandemics or these security pandemics is because the way your workforce actually works has changed completely. Traditionally, they have always been inside an organization behind a firewall in a walled garden, and any rules that you set on those firewalls, nothing else was escaping out of it. Today, if you see, most of your users have migrated to going on laptops and mobile devices. They're working from home. They are working at airports. They want access to all internal applications, all internal data as well. How do you control those users? How do you control the security of those users? You don't check into Office. You don't check into update servers. You don't do patch management there. When do they run the weekly scans of the antivirus? They don't do that. So that is one of the biggest challenges that your IT teams have been facing when they want to make those users in compliance. The second problem is users will always keep on demanding access. They will keep on demanding, I want this application, I want this access from home. That is because that increases productivity. But for an IT organization, what is the fine line of balance between what is good for productivity and what is bad for security? So that is also a dilemma that most organizations face. And finally, it's that you have multiple vendors and multiple consoles inside your organization to manage multiple things. One console only for AV, one for patch management, one for your advanced threat protection, one for firewall management, all of that. So many consoles, many vendors to talk to and get a resolution when something goes bad. And the problem is, the biggest problem that has actually come up is the endpoint. The attackers have shifted focus in the last 10 years. Primarily, the attacks were more focused towards applications earlier, but as the organizations have actually evolved their IT infrastructure, you see that today your data center is protected by firewalls, it is protected by IPS, it is protected by a hell lot of policies. It is more restrictive. For an attacker to spend 6 months trying to get into a target and then getting very little value out of it doesn't make a very good business decision. Whereas the endpoint is actually the most vulnerable thing in your organization. The endpoint is maybe not compliant, it will not be patched. Out of say 10,000 endpoints, I have just to find one endpoint which can be compromised and I can get into the organization. It's quite easy. Once inside an organization, it's quite easy because internally you don't have policies to inspect malware, you don't have policies to inspect restrictions of the user moving from one app to another. So those are challenges. So if you look at the statistics here, 95% of the attacks are on endpoints today. Only 5% on your applications. It is all directed to the endpoints, and from the endpoints they try to move into the servers. And in 93% of those cases, it just takes minutes for them to exploit the endpoint. Just minutes. It's not 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. 90% of them are completely unique to organization, meaning that no antivirus vendor has actually seen them in the wild. It's completely unknown, completely new. And most of them, 99% of them just last for 58 seconds, which means that the file is seen, the hash is basically, which is an identity of the file, is seen only for 58 seconds before it is changed. Security has always been about identity. If you look at the physical world, if you look at your FBI, CIA or CBI, they create a database, they create an identity and they try to match, is this the bad guy or not? Same way the virtual security is also doing the same. You try to create a signature, you try to get an identity to match that. It's quite easy to change the identity on the virtual world. Just change some lines of code, the identity changes. Which is why we are seeing that 90% of the samples are actually unique. I don't need to give any statistics. Most of you are quite aware of these two screens in your organization. You have seen, you have read the news. On the left is WannaCry, on the right is NotPetya. Both of them, despite all of the security practices that we have, patch management, AV management, scanning, all of that, since the last 10, 15 or so years, have been global pandemics. WannaCry was utilizing a completely unknown exploit that was never known to the world. Microsoft had patched it 1 month back, but nobody had patched those systems. It hit 112 countries. A couple of weeks back, when all of the organizations were saying we are patched for WannaCry, we are protected against WannaCry, we had not paid yet. It would use the same exploit, the same technique that was used by WannaCry, and we still had 79 countries impacted. And the impact was a bit lower because it was only targeted at one particular country, which was Ukraine. It spread across. But you can see that even after releasing a patch, even after global pandemic, most of the people were not able to get systems patched or systems updated. And the reason is because attacking is a piece of cake. Change some lines of code, you have a completely new malware. Similarly, for those people, we think that an attacker is basically somebody who's behind the CLI screen, a hacker who's writing loads of code. It is not like that. Attacking is actually a piece of cake because it is a business. On the dark web, you have websites like this one, which hosts ransomware and asks, it gives you it for free and asks you that you give 5% of your commission. That's it. Now, I don't want to do all of that work. You have another ransomware website which does all the dirty work. You just give them the file that you want, which are the targets that you want to send the ransomware. They will send out the ransomware, they will host the Bitcoin infrastructure for you, they will collect the payment on your behalf. All they ask is 50% of the cut. That's it. And finally, if you don't want to even do that, ready-made compromised servers, all for your usage, you just log into them and run all of your tools inside them. All compromised servers. You can see the price is with one server for $6.90. That is business. And what do we have in response? We have this whole cycle that combats that. This is how the traditional AV systems have been working. You have them collecting any samples. They don't know that this is a new malware. They collect any sample, they send it to the lab. The lab will then run it in the environment, try to diagnose what are the behaviors of that particular malware. They will categorize them, try to identify is this a backdoor, is this a Trojan, what is this exactly. Once that is done, they will write a signature, basically identity protection for that particular virus, push it to their cloud. That cloud updates to your agents. Now, if you have a distributed architecture, that updates to your multiple update servers. Then from those update servers, it goes to the agents. That's a very huge cycle. And after that, what do you need? You need that those agents are updated. You have to ensure that those agents have scanned the machine before you are pretty sure that yes, I am protected. And that has been how security is working. So that is my question. What would you rather do? All of the things on the left, backing up user data, whitelisting applications, saying that these are the only apps that I allow in my environment. Run weekly scans. Look at that all of our systems are compliant. You run weekly scans. Perform daily signature updates. We are finished with one signature update, one patch. Microsoft releases something else. There's another zero. Please patch that. You're done with that, something else releases. So all third-party applications have been patched. And after all of that, you still have to pray that the endpoints are still connected to my servers. Because without the server, it is completely ineffective. The option is deploy a solution that works, prevent 0 days, completely online and offline. That is what the Dell solution is. So just before I go on how it does it, you can see a comparison of the effectiveness of our solution, the Dell Advanced Threat Protection Solution, part of the enterprise suite, versus a traditional antivirus solution. If you look at commodity threats, these are threats which are already known in the wild, which are already there. You can see that most of your antivirus solutions are only 50% effective. Whereas we, as a solution, are 99% effective rated by a third-party algorithm. When you look at zero-day threats, which is completely unknown, never been seen in the wild before, most of our traditional solutions are 0% effective. They are not able to detect it unless until you have the whole cycle of triaging and getting samples. We are still 99% effective. The same efficacy remains if the user is online, if he is roaming, he is offline. However, that is something that most of the other solutions will not be able to give you. And how we do that is we have completely changed the model of security. We do not look at identity. The reason is because identity can change. What we look at is we do a DNA analysis of files that are there on the system. We rank them based on characteristics, based on atomic properties of that file. Those atomic properties are called they are called as threat indicators. What we do is we rank them based on what they can do on the system, what is the intent of the system. So for example, let's say a file has a deception threat indicator. Deception is basically, does it try to hide from the user? Is it trying to collect anything from the end machine like a BIOS properties, the serial number of the machine, memory consumption, what are the programs installed? All of that is actually collected. We also look at intent, such as is it going to destruction of the machine, does it delete files, does it delete registry keys, does it encrypt the machine, and based on that we give it score. The higher the score, the more the probability it has of malware, and based on that we rank it. That this is malware, we quarantine it. There is no looking at analysis of signature, we don't look at behavior, we look at properties. So if you change the identity, if you change the virus completely, you change lines of code, we are still looking at the threat indicator, and we are still able to identify that this is still a malware and we are able to quarantine that. No signatures required and no updates required as well. Meaning very minimal updates. You don't have to update every week, you don't have to update, do a weekly scan of the machines. We rely on machine learning, artificial intelligence technology to gather these threat indicators from the agent itself. The agent itself does all of this work. There is no server involved doing this. So the agent will analyze the malware at the DNA level, prevent the threats, and all of that with 2 or 3 updates in a year, it will predict and prevent those threats. It's not like we are detecting, remediating after that. It will predict and prevent those threats. That's a major differentiator from how your security is deployed currently. And there is no reliance on human indicators. There is no need for a human to be in place doing a scan, doing a patch, doing an update, downloading a signature. We are eliminating all of that. The reason for that is because that is the biggest challenge that security has faced. You are getting signatures in 4 hours, you are getting that. So how to deploy that? How do you scan the machine? There have to be humans involved. So that is why we are eliminating that completely. No scans required, nothing. The agent itself does it.